Joe the Toe Rogan. This is it. This is the single greatest moment of his entire life. Better than sex. Better than getting his first laugh during a set. Better than watching trans children cry themselves to sleep. The pinnacle of everything he's worked for, combining every single discipline of his entire career into a single moment.
Michelle Obama is a man! Am I right, America?
What can you even really say at this point? Besides helping Israel try and destroy the world while sending his own economy into a death spiral of inflation and job slaughtering while pouring billions into racist death squads and concentration camps. By every single possible metric, Donald Trump is a disaster for the entire planet. Every metric but one. The epic, manly, and totally not gay fuck the woke shit. Fuck the immigrants, fuck the poors, fuck minorities, fuck the gays, as long as I think I got's mine. Doesn't matter for multimillionaires, so even better if they can convince their working class followers to hate minorities instead of billionaires.
If you want to have a good time or like make people really laugh at a party, you can use Grok and you can say, do a vulgar roast of someone, and Grok is gonna be an epic vulgar roast.
Thanks, Joe. Great job. Everything fucking sucks and is horrifying and scary, and you were told and explained multiple times to your face that this was the road we were going down.
Donald Trump just passed a $750 billion military budget. Democrats voted for it too. How much waste is in the military? Why is 60 cents of every $1 coming out of the federal budget tied to the military? Why is there no close oversight and accountability of it? How come American people don't know about the 4 countries that we're bombing or assisting other countries in bombing? And we can go right down: Pakistan, Afghanistan, Yemen, absolutely, Mali, Niger, Somalia, Iraq. I mean, we can go on and on and on, right? How come we don't know about the 4,800 military units, 587 around the world? We got U.S. special operations in 128 countries, only 197 in the world.
Bush administration, they made it illegal to take photographs of flag-draped coffins.
That's exactly
which
right.
is unbelievably insane.
La da 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 da.
Every single one of the Stand Up to Podcast Bro Motherboy Network diaper soilers was told this, because none of this is that complex.
Obama!
So cool, your bestie became the world's first trillionaire, the guy who begged to go to Epstein Island, the loser amongst pedophiles, the same one who desperately tried to bribe an employee to touch his penis and then offered to bribe her with a horse when she refused. Totally based in epic sex crimes, Joe. Crimes you pretended to care about. So I guess he's happy, leaving everyone else to fight for the remaining scraps and resources while he parties with the Epstein class. The official host of the fascist pedophile circus. Great work, you fucking idiot. Who started out as a hardworking comedian stoner and ended up being the bloated pig clown at the Nazi parade. Which I guess leads us to why you're watching this. And believe me, friend, it does get sweatier. For the world never used to always be this way. I'm starting to get old, and I lived through a time when comedians weren't the filching class of the pedophile elites. I know that sounds downright implausible, but I can tell you, hand to Luigi, there was a time when comedians were the people calling out the fascists. Most artists were, and some still are. And even if you were considered blue-collar or redneck as a comedian, you weren't an overt fucking Nazi. It was more important that you were funny than how many followers you had on the gram. I can't go into the complete history of Joe Rogan's descent into court fester. I've done 2 deep dives into that phenomenon. You can click on them right here or find the links in the description. But suffice to say, an easy nexus point, like a lot of right-wingers, was trans people.
Here's something that I'm not a real expert in physiology or endocrinology, but I'm a martial arts expert.
Now, I get the math that went down in Joe Rogan's head. On average, more men will be physically stronger than women, so if a man beats up a woman, he's especially evil because she's presumed to be naturally weaker. This was how people our age grew up thinking. Noble dudes protected women from bad men. Superheroes did it. Movie stars did it. That's what men do. So if you think that suddenly cowards who couldn't win at male sports thought they found a cheat code and all they had to do was put on a wig and fight women and they'd win gold medals? Super easy call out. That's cheating. Simple as that. Anyone who says otherwise doesn't know what the fuck they're talking about. Doesn't matter if a single trans woman has ever won a gold medal at the Olympics. Doesn't matter if cis men never medically transitioned to play sports, because fully transitioning from someone identified as a man at birth into a woman takes intense hormone therapy that completely changes multiple factors of your physiology.
Originally went to them and I said, you guys should go try out for a bunch of ladies leagues. And that became not possible because, as it turns out, most ladies leagues don't allow in actual men. And they weren't willing to go the full distance.
It doesn't matter if people who undergo gender transition as a result of gender dysphoria have no recorded cases having done so to win at sports, and every single major medical association in the US and Canada agree that gender-affirming care is a beneficial medical treatment for people who experience gender dysphoria. Doesn't matter if there's trans men, people who were incorrectly identified as women when they were born, who underwent hormone therapy and surgery, who are also pro boxers and have won 3 fights in a row with this fucking dude. Doesn't matter if Joe's friends with Dana White, a woman beater, or numerous Epstein Island pedophiles. Fuck science, fuck reality, and hell, fuck the fact that the Nazis said and did the exact same things leading up to the Holocaust, if at the end of the day, the math's math, right? Men strong, women weak, so strong protect weak.
A trans woman who's competing as a woman and is fucking breaking records left and right. And everybody's like, this is crazy. She's an inspiration.
Didn't Fallon Fox get beaten by Ashley Evans Smith?
Yeah, because she sucks.
Naturally, having to readjust a lot of the aspects of reality as a result of, how biology, anatomy, and physics work will have you wanting to validate your beliefs, so you start having more and more transphobic therapists on your show, like Ben Shapiro, Andy No, Steven Crowder, Sargon of Akkad, Elon Musk, Peter Thiel, Gavin McInnes, Tim Pool, Donald Trump, J.D. Vance, and of course, one of his personal favorites, Dr. Jordan B. Peterson.
You're dressing up in lingerie before your mirror at home, tucking your dick between your legs, imagining you have a vagina for a sexual kick. Oh, there was nothing sexual about that. Yeah, right.
By the way, what happened to that guy? Is he doing all right? He just totally disappeared because of weird medical demons? Supposedly he's been attacked by demons right now? I don't know. It just sounds like... I'm saying this to someone who hates Jordan Peterson. Someone should probably check on Jordan Peterson to make sure he's okay.
Most of the kids being sterilized and mutilated are gay. 80% of them.
Call me in a moment. I was playing it cool, but I told you that I'm fine alone. But
Despite the transphobic Avengers filling his brain with turf mold, Joe hadn't completely devolved into the brood mother just yet, and was still listening to reason when he heard it and picking off warts like Dave Rubin and Steven Crowder when they overplayed their hand.
What would you not talk about? I said, probably pot because I don't care. Well, what do you think
You
about it? I
definitely
said,
care. That's
this
why
is
you're
what I
arguing
think
with me
about
about it.
And your eyes
Lying.
light up. And all of a sudden,
bitch. You
where
cares?
ideology and
You care
worldviews
like crazy.
shouldn't...
But Joe wasn't just interested in politics. His first love that he cherished, even more than Dana White's unshaven scrotum, was the ha-ha.
8-year-old retarded boy's gonna go. Oh!
Comedy indeed. And what better name for a ship that Joe could bring all his friends aboard and feed them from his festering bosom than the Mothership? What better place for this unholy monstrosity to land than Texas, the heart of freedom, where no woke dare speak its name, and coincidentally had really loose pandemic restrictions. You see, hanging out all day with the Ku Klux dingleberries inevitably has you overlapping with the right wing's hatred of washing their hands. COVID-19 put the entire world indoors, which led to a lot of people spending way too much time on their computers, desperate to uncover the truth behind who was inconveniencing them with basic outbreak protocols. Joe Rogan was all too willing to platform every deranged lunatic he could give airtime to. Now, unfortunately, we don't have time to derail into a horse-paced video, but suffice to say, if 11 million people listen to your show every week and you convince a percentage of them to engage in dangerous medical misinformation, then you are directly harming your audience.
It's a strange responsibility to have this many viewers and listeners. I'm not trying to promote misinformation. I'm not trying to be controversial. I've never tried to do anything with this podcast other than just talk to people and have interesting conversations.
But say that same virus and the ensuing lockdowns devastated local businesses and made legendary venues close down, well, you got yourself an opportunity. Then, after intense pressure from his base, Greg Abbott moved to ease COVID restrictions even as cases surged and everything lined up for Joe Rogan to land his comedy Mothership.
It's like, but everyone's like, dude, you can't take the vaccine, but then they're doing blow in the green room of the Mothership.
Yeah. It is funny to have that kind of thing.
Wow. Built on the ethos of creating a safe space for racist comedians. The anti-woke venue filled with anti-woke comics to do anti-woke comedy. Joe's podcast had already become the digital river Styx for the washed-up hacks of the previous generation who refused to improve their craft or learn anything, and mistook that for cancel culture. People stopped finding white guys who do bad racist accents funny, but they were all peers or heroes to Joe Rogan, and he was more than happy to become the Adam Sandler to their Rob Schneiders. Those were the old divorced guard who enjoyed fractional podcast careers dependent primarily on the mother's teat. But then, who was the father to the brood mother? Enter Brian Redban and their bastard offspring, Tony Hinchcliffe. Brian Redban was the producer and co-host of the Joe Rogan Experience and the creator and co-host of Kill Tony.
Anyway, what do you want to do? Bring up the band first?
Sure, let's do that.
Who loves live bands and hilarious people, huh? I know I do.
He was the primordial ooze seed that would fertilize Mother Joe to eventually feed the untalented children. The next class of court jesters who would hope one day to board the Mothership first would have to survive trial by hack.
For some reason, I'm afraid for my life.
Yeah, all of a sudden, we got Hans wide awake. It's funny because you were kind of off a week, on a week, off a week, on a week. But now that you know that you're fighting for your job, it appears as if though we have you exactly at the type of work you were doing when we first made you a regular.
Kill Tony. Initially debuting in the Comedy Store in Los Angeles, Kill Tony would eventually follow the Mothership's orbit. The series exploded in popularity, growing to 3 million downloads per episode and becoming the 19th most popular podcast on Spotify.
I don't want you to judge me.
No, of course, Darwin. I like you. You remind me of like Nephew Jemima or something like that.
Hosted by Tony Hinchcliffe, a man who had a dream of becoming the world's greatest roast comic, but was tragically cursed to be completely untalented at writing a joke and even worse at taking one.
B.I. Bye.
Wow. Youth.
Takes one to know one.
Yes. Go have your magic moment. This is the biggest thing in your career. Go do it. Go get it. Go get it. Is that a school bus attached to your face? You flaming homosexual. Takes one to know one.
Yep.
What if instead of being naturally talented, or even working that hard at being a funnier comedian, you instead hosted a show where amateur comedians had to tell jokes for your amusement? Well, you made fun of them.
Did anybody else think that his voice was going to be like, oh, hell yeah, what up? and then he's like, you know, what's the problem with these Facebook pics these days? What's going on here? Slap a baby with my cock? What are you doing? What are you doing? Huh?
It's funny. You remind me of like if Snoop Dogg played a Reservoir Dog. Something like that.
That's one of my favorite movies of all time.
That is one of your favorites. Is that what you're dressed as?
No, Jules from Pulp Fiction.
Oh, okay. I was going to guess.
I wish you were dressed like Marvin.
The format is simple. Tony Hinchcliffe and Brian Redban, often joined by a special guest or two, randomly draw names from a bucket of aspiring stand-up comedians desperate for an opportunity to break into the industry. They get a minute of stand-up, a near impossible setup for anyone, let alone a green comic, and then stay for an interview where they can trade roasts back and forth with Tony himself.
Not as crazy as your homeless ass is. I'm out this relationship, man.
If you perform well, you get the golden ticket into not only the Kill Tony and Death Squad podcast network, but the entire Joe Rogan extended universe of Pod Bros and beyond. Tony and Brian get to laugh at anyone they don't like, and whenever they do open the gates to allow one of the filth pores to enter the fold, they're rewarded as heroes for uplifting new talent. True legends paying it forward while actually creating an army of loyal foot soldiers to the Joeosphere. If it seems like comedians have become a lot more right-wing in the last couple of years, it's not your imagination. It's part of a galactic empire of subhuman scab demons sucking up the entire genre. Breaking into the industry used to be a cutthroat process to hone your craft. Starting in open mic nights, trying to bring some of your friends, bombing repeatedly until you learn how to play with the crowd as they become comfortable with you, getting an opening set or two for some middle tier, regular occurring character on a sitcom headliner, and then finally you're the middle performer right before the main act, crushing an entire crowd who have never heard of you but will go on to tell everyone that you were better than the headliner, that you were better than the famous guy before becoming that guy yourself and finally booking an audition into Saturday Night Live for the writer's room for 30 Rock. After 5 seasons and an Emmy, you're the star as the lead in your first action comedy bromance. You made it, kid.
Great job, bucko.
You got past the gatekeepers, from the club managers to the talent agents to the executive producers and the CEOs. Joe, Brian, and Toto would change all that. The Mothership landed like a scene straight out of Independence Day, only this time crushing Jeff Goldblum and Will Smith upon arrival, so there was no happy ending. Only the Joe mind virus.
It's got like a book as a little icon. I should have thought of this before, I guess.
Yeah,
but no, it's called like Collector's Corner. It's
Okay, so there's Collector's Corner, which is like a page on eBay.
Yeah.
Right. So what's your Nazi stuff?
Brian Redban had orchestrated a masterclass in restructuring an entire genre to bend to his will. On the front end, Tony Hinchcliffe had weaponized the cruelest filtering process possible, ensuring they produce a generation of loyal reactionary entertainers. Those who were willing to step through a gauntlet of essentially taking a healthy dose of Tony's shit and never throwing too much back. Play nice and be a good little boy or girl, and then you get to play with the big boys, leaving only one last soiled piece of fertilization to begin the infection. The gig economy. See, the world had changed. Less and less dependable writing jobs or even spec hunting for streaming services flooding production demand, and way less opportunities to make it in traditional media. The comedian became the podcaster. Why not? It seemed like the perfect fit. Legends like Conan O'Brien, Mark Maron, Will Arnett were all crossover pioneers, and even the late great Robin Williams was one of the first comedians talking to comedian shows ever debuting on the internet, and it was actually Tom Green who truly inspired Joe.
You just need to keep doing this. We need to figure out how you make money from this.
Yeah. So comedians became influencers. They needed viral shorts and reels, huge subscriber counts and co-branded sponsorships, massive play numbers on Spotify, and like most genres on the internet, the most inflammatory, incendiary content got the most views, likes, and clicks, and cruel homophobic gladiator sports brought in the eyeballs. Kill Tony skyrocketed to the top of the streaming charts, while every little larva willing to bow down before the dark comedy queen mother would be well fed. Their own shows would explode in popularity. They'd cross-pollinate with one another. Wokes and scolds wouldn't dare show their soy-stained skin and dankly stained couches on Podcastum. Soon there wasn't so much comedians with podcasts, but podcasters pretending to be comedians, believing being offensive and edgy was a substitute for being funny. Joe Rogan, Brian Redban, and Tony Hinchcliffe, or as they're medically referred to, the broodmare bastards.
Sperm part of it, right?
You're not donating sperm, are you? There's no way you're...
I used to scoop it in a container.
Yeah.
Hey, Redban, everybody.
Yeah.
That's the great contributor, Redban.
At its essence, a stand-up comedian is nothing more than one person and a microphone. No tricks, gimmicks, or backup. It all comes down to you. But now, it all came down to them.
Real frickin' deal. Like, I think he's what everybody, back in the day, like John Belushi and all these, Chris Farley, all these goofball big guys, like, I think he's the real one. he's such a silly goose. He's the silliest, and his head.
Listen, he's great, but you don't have to disparage Chris Farley.
No, I'm not.
John Belushi, piece of shit.
No,
See what he did?
No.
Last week, a Boeing whistleblower was found dead in his car prior to testify. Wait, did he work for Boeing or Hillary Clinton Airlines? Okay, that's my time. Thank you.
It wasn't long before multiple partnerships with major corporations like Spotify, Paramount, and Netflix ensured they would control the final end of the hackapede, effectively making them the most powerful connections to have in professional comedy. They were the tastemakers, the gatekeepers. You lived and died based on their comedic preferences. Yet somehow this wasn't enough.
Literally, when I moved to Texas, I'm like, fuck all of everything. Fuck everything. I've got everything I wanted now. I can make money and have a blast doing my own YouTube show that I have 100% control of, no network notes. I don't need anything. I can make my own specials, drop them on YouTube. I'm so done with Hollywood. It's hilarious, and I love it. It's so freeing not to worry about anything or be greedy or, you know what I mean? Just want anything. I have what I want, even though that sounds corny. Anyway, but here I am all of a sudden like, fuck, I want to fuck this roast up.
All right, so give me your starting five.
Yeah, the do not poke starting five.
Yes.
You do not want to mess with these people.
I would put
being rich, famous, successful, and racist just wasn't enough for them. Helping a fascist pedophile come into power wasn't enough. They needed to stand above their peers, the Hollywood elite, climb high above them, drop trow, and shower their uptight liberal lips with rancid hot piss. It wasn't enough for Tony to control the amateur comedy scene. He wanted to tower above the heavyweights, the legends, and the most coveted format of all, the roast. Netflix had become the biggest name in the comedy world, and while they called themselves a joke, the money they threw at projects was not. It had minted Tony and other maggots into full-blown overlords, launching their GOAT Roast series with the most famous living NFL celebrity, Tom Brady. And Tony got to fill the crowd with his friends, rising when his moment came to take the podium and ascend as the roast master.
All night, he's been using the stool that Aaron Hernandez kicked out from under himself. Kevin is so small that when his ancestors picked cotton, they called it deadlifting. She is a black lesbo, which means she doesn't eat pussy. She, hell no. You look like the final boss in George Floyd, the video game. Tom Brady is a patriot, which is surprising considering he looks like a Confederate.
Hell no, hell no, hell no.
And then he did what any white supremacist would and steal the work of more talented black men.
Sure is the king. He looks like if the Tiger King and the Liver King only ate Burger King and had a liver that looked like Martin Luther King got beat up by Rodney King.
Lisa, Larry King, Don King, Rodney King, and Billie Jean King in a Burger King bathroom.
With his cronies in towed was like bringing all your friends to an open mic night. They cackled for their gobles and made sure to raise the podcast banners the second the episode had aired.
And then Tony, holy fuck, Tony, amazing! Like they just fuck. They were just so fucking good.
Tony Hinchcliffe's so good.
Dude, he was so good.
Well,
Tony, the last time we did these roasts, Tony was a writer. Tony is one of my favorite people, and it gave me such joy and such pride to see him step up like that.
Tony crushed, I heard. Nikki crushed, I heard.
I've seen that dude like really come together. I've seen that dude like really become like a killer comedian. You know, I watched him on the roast last night or Saturday night. God damn, dude.
Mentioning it to Joe that Netflix is doing this Tom Brady roast, and he goes, I'll message Tom Brady. You know Joe.
Really?
Joe's like, I'll message Tom Brady for you. I'm like, really? You do that? And sure enough, he does. And he says, Tony's the best he sent me a screenshot of it. Tony's the best roaster in the world. You got to have Tony Hinchcliffe.
The entire Joe Rogan multiverse let the world know that Tony Hinchcliffe had ascended. No one came close. He had refined his roasting skills to a fine art through the Kill Tony circuit. Now a Trump-supporting, minority-hating hack was the self-crowned king of comedy. Joe was the mother, aka the tastemaker, an anointer, Brian the father, whose rotten seed gave birth to their platforms. And their ultimate prodigy, was the unfunny bigot who couldn't write or take a joke to save his life.
And I said, Jeff, I'm Tony. You've seen me with the Barris Brody Overdrive playing air guitar or whatever. I just want to let you know that if you ever need any extra roast jokes for anything whatsoever, I'm super, super down and really, really good at it. And I think we could really, really help each other out.
Their work was complete. Comedy and satire, once the most powerful tools to critique authoritarianism, now served exclusively to uphold it. Tony and Joe had destroyed the Weimar cabaret.
All right, so give me your starting 5.
Yeah, the do not poke starting 5.
Yes.
You do not want to mess
this
with
is
these
good.
people.
I would put kill Tony Hinchcliffe up there.
Who's the white
Tony
guy?
he would.
The white guy in Austin?
Yeah.
Yes.
So Tony gets to pretend just like Joe. He gets to have the happiest day of his life, being the misshapen homunculus who made it, and the only cost being the gesture for a court of pedophile war criminals. The worst human beings on the planet who will go down in history in the same way all fascists do. Even if he pulls more of a Franco than a Mussolini, he'll still be a monster covering up the Epstein files, rounding up thousands of people without criminal records to throw into concentration camps, or die doing forced prison labor in Ecuador while he massacres Venezuelan fishermen, starves Cubans to death, funds Israel's genocide in Gaza, their slaughter of Lebanon, and wasted billions doing illegal bombing of Iran on behalf of Israel that's costing the lives of thousands of civilians.
It's on the lawn of the White House, and it is one of the most watched sporting events in the history of the world.
Yeah.
I don't know what the total overall views are as of now, but I know that it was like well over, I think it was 150 million just by Monday.
Unbelievable.
Just by Monday.
Congratulations. You did it. All of you did. You got mildly annoyed at having to learn a pronoun or have HR explain why racism is bad during pizza day and a black woman almost became James Bond. So yeah, fuck it. Roll the dice on a dude who was quoting Hitler and talking about how attracted he was to teenagers. What's the worst that could happen? Who cares if you're completely destroying everything that once made comedy great if at the end of the day, you and the boys get to say the R word again? Mission accomplished. Next stop, the N-word.
Do you think that we would have started this war in Iran without the influence of Israel?
I think the president, completely separate from any influence from Israel, believes very strongly, and again, I agree with this, that Iran should not have a nuclear weapon.
Right,
and I
but
think he was
after
willing
we
to do things.
bombed them in June, right? That was the initial attack, right?
June of last year.
Yeah.
Midnight Hammer, yeah.
Right. Do you think he would have continued with the most recent campaign if it wasn't for the influence of Israel?
Yes, I do.
Really?
I do.
So now we're in a post-comedy fascist nightmare. And we know what comes next. History will not look kindly upon the collaborators and propagandists of genocide and crimes against humanity. It never has. You won't be able to pretend like you didn't know what was happening because you were told to your faces and we saw it with our own eyes that you knew. You knew what they were doing. You knew and you still had on the architects of genocide and death and pedophilia on your show to normalize the regime's crimes.
Children are narcissists, young children. When I say narcissists, I don't mean in a pathological sense. I mean in the sense they think it's all about them.
Right, and they don't have any other choice. They're all they know.
That's all they know. So if the parents are happy and connected and there's an atmosphere of loving acceptance and so on, then the child thinks, hey, I must be pretty good. I must be okay.
Everything's good.
Yeah.
I'm okay.
Yeah, but if the parents are stressed, depressed, traumatized, racially challenged, economically challenged, or such terrible things as the children in Gaza are experiencing right now with the daily bombings and all this kind of stuff, what can they think? That there's something wrong with me.
Oh, imagine some kid over there in Gaza looking up and there's a bomb, and they think, man, I'm so horrible, I deserve to be bombed.
Well, you know what? There was a study done of Gazan children.
Man, that's crazy. I hadn't thought about that. Like, really imagine that, though.
There was a study done of children in Palestine 21 years ago. And 95% of those, 95%, this is long before the current horrors, long before October the 7th, long before the aftermath of October the 7th. 95% of those kids showed traumatic symptoms. High percentage wet their beds, like you and I did. They expressed aggression towards their parents. They had panic attacks, anxiety, fears. Can you imagine what's going to happen to that generation
Years from now?
Years from now. I mean, it just breaks my heart every day when I think about it. And
Brady
and
kids
I know a lot of my fellow Jews don't agree with me, but as a Jewish person, I'm not the only one who feels that way. It especially breaks my heart.
Yeah. Well, when you put it in that sense, that a kid, imagine a kid like, because what are they going to think? They don't know. They just think, man, something's so wrong with me. I deserve to be killed.
Yeah.
Or something. I don't know. Yeah.
It depends if the adults are able to hold them and keep them feeling loved.
If for whatever reason, at any point in this video, there's suddenly a jump cut or something seems completely out of place, it's most likely because YouTube has censored or cut or edited, or a bad person has done a bad copyright strike on otherwise fair dealing or fair use content. And any statements made within the video were not a statement of fact, but rather one of opinion, as the whole video is parody and satire.
Hello friends, there's some really exciting changes coming to the channel that I wanted to explain quickly, as we've had a couple of questions as to what exactly is going on. First and foremost, I want to tell you all thank you so much for supporting the Serfs up until this point, and it's not going anywhere. In fact, it's only becoming
better and more powerful.
If you didn't know, for some time now, YouTube has been effectively demonetizing nearly almost every single video that we upload for a variety of different reasons. Sometimes it's because I use the word queer, but other times it happens to be because we talk about things like genocide and anti-colonial activities. And it's getting to the point now where we want to create a more dependable revenue stream that isn't dependent entirely on whether or not the YouTube gods on any given day decide to censor the word. It's for that reason that I'm starting to create a lot of exclusive content directly for patreon.com/theserf.
Go to patreon.com/theserfs now.
It wouldn't be possible without all the names you see on screen. It especially wouldn't be without the incredible support of all these legends. Political Puppy, Multimondi, Riley and Anna, Omni, Quiet 185, Tigwick, Stellar Gwyn, Doug Caddy, Hagbard Celine, Everything Important, Words Greenwood, Sebastian Demo, Roller Dragon, Period, Bobby Lasers, Addercap, Soulcar, Council of Anthony's,